everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. So today we're going to play with the Chucky palette again by Glamlite because I want to get a feel for more of the shades that is going on because I didn't get to play with that many of them, the last time. So I want to play with a couple more this time just to make sure that I am correct in the formula and stuff. I will say today, like I said in the other video, I did get two different blushes. The last video I did, I used the Good Guys blush, which is more pink. Today I'm using the Bad Gals blush, which is more coral. So there is a difference in my blushes. I don't know why, and I don't know if others have it. I'm not for sure. The highlighter I'm wearing is the Michaela highlighter, and then bronzer is Too Faced, the milk chocolate. So that's that for that. Oh, I'm wearing the Chucky lip kit again. I tried the Tiff Kit lip, not my color at all. At all. Okay? Like, when I put that one, first off, it makes me look so white. And granted, I'm pretty white, but like, it makes me look really, really white. So I didn't really care for that. And the color is just too deep and dark for me to pull off. It may look fine on me, but I don't feel comfortable in it, so therefore I don't think it looks fine. You know what I mean? So the first shade we're going to go into today is Scarier Than Ever, this brownish shade. I was starting off, this is the look we're going to do. I was starting off thinking like a neutral type look is what I was kind of going to go for today. It didn't go that way, as you can clearly see, but I do think you could come up with probably a neutral look in this, but I feel like it's still going to be a very dark look, which isn't a bad thing. That's the palette. That's the theming behind the palette, even is deep and dark and grungy and stuff like that. So I get it. I was just trying to see if possibly the palette could go in a different direction. If you wanted it to, you may not want it to. I do think that this palette overall is a good like fall and winter palette though. Like if I had to, not that there's like seasons for anything or, makeup's makeup, but you know what I mean. I do see more fall and winter in this. But at the same time, I kind of see why. This is dark, grungy, death in a sense, and that's kind of like fall. Everything dies, it gets darker, it stays darker longer, it's ickier out in a sense. So but I do like the collection. I really do. Is it my color story? No, it's not. Absolutely not. But did they nail the collection itself? Absolutely. And did they nail the color story for what it's supposed to be? Absolutely. And not everything is meant for me. It is meant for me in the fact that I will use the palette. I can use it, I will use it. But it's just not, my color story, that's all, technically. But I can make it work. And sometimes you get in these moods where it's a little darker and a little more scarier, I guess. That's the way I feel right now. I feel scary. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, it's just like I feel mad and scary, and I don't know. And maybe it's just the vibe that the palette's given me, is that's the vibe I'm getting. So that's the way I'm feeling, but like, for real, that's kind of where I'm at. So that is a very pretty brown. It can definitely be built up or it can be blended out. So I do like that brown. Let's go into now Till Death Do Us Part. Now I did use this color yesterday, but I only used it on the waterline and I didn't really see it. So today we're going to play with it so we can really see the color. Oh, it's pretty. I will say you're going to have to like deeper shades, darker shades, for sure if you're going to want this palette. Purples, maroons for sure. Black, gray, dark brown, silver, that sort of thing. I think I just named every color in the palette, to be honest, but you know. If you do, then this is going to be your color story. And if you're just buying it for the, you know, like memorabilia or whatever, the theming of it, then the nostalgia, it really ain't going to matter. Because the formula itself is good though. So not only did they do good with the packaging and nailed it, they nailed the formula. And see, everybody else is complaining like missed opportunity on the blush, and I can't say that because I got 2 different blushes somehow, some way. I kind of wanted to reach out to Glamlite and ask like why I got 2 different blushes, but I'm scared they're gonna be like, yeah, that was a mishap, can you send that back? And say I can't do that. I can't do that. And I told my fiance that. I said, I could reach out. I guess they couldn't find me, you know what I mean? But then I was like, oh, wait, they do have my address. They can find me. I'm taking that same shade and run it in along the lower lash line. This is what I did with this shade yesterday. And I did like it on the lower lash line. In a one way, I kind of like the purples because I do feel like it brings out my eyes. But in the other way, it's like a little too deep of a purple for me to feel comfortable wearing, you know? But I'm wearing it nonetheless. I'm trying to feel comfortable. And I'm trying to feel comfortable outside my comfort zone, you know? My youngest daughter was like, can you please not do that anymore? Wear these darker colors. You're just too bubbly and pink for me. You can't pull it off, Mom. I was like, thanks a lot. Okay, so now that we're done with Till Death Do Us Part, let's go into He's Back. And that's that black with that red, like, glitter shimmer stuff in it. You really don't see it in the shadow, to be honest, when I'm using it. And I will also say that you don't see it as in Fallout either, which I kind of like. But I'm just going to darken up this outer corner here with it. And I'm not big on black. Like, I get scared of black, but honestly, I wasn't scared to use this for some reason. Like, I think it worked really well. I didn't have any issues with it. And I like that about it, to be honest. Because I won't lie, I really was scared to use it thinking, oh, I'm going to make a mess, you know. But I did only pick up a very little bit of it. I tap it off and then apply it a little bit at a time. And it does work that way really well for me. So I was happy on that. And it gave me just enough deepness here for what I wanted, but not like too much, you know. Because I didn't want it to go overboard either. And the black just take over. But it's more of a soft black, to be honest. But it's not a bad thing. I do think some of these colors are kind of so close together, to be honest, that they may not have been needed. But at the same time, I'm not mad at it, you know? I'm really not. Alright, now let's go back into that Till Death Do Us Part shade. Pick up just a tad, because we don't want to lose any other color that we do have. And that's kind of what I did, just back and forth, but you're going to do that with any palette that's this dark. You're going to play a lot of back and forth, to be honest. So don't think that like you're gonna come right off the bat and not have like it's just gonna go on flawlessly, because it's not. All right, now we're gonna use the shade It's Showtime. And again, I didn't use this shade the last time either. And it's a purple. It's darker than the purple I used. So it's like it's got more of a black base to it, I think. But it's still very metallic looking. And I didn't spray it. But I didn't get much fallout either, to be honest. But I did go very slow because, again, such a dark color, I didn't want to mess up, you know. Okay. Then I'm going to go into the shade Chucky and Tiff Forever. This one's like a gunmetal gray. And I picked it up and I'm just going to tap it. We're going to start with tapping motions. And then pulling it. Tap and pull, tap and pull. And I do like the way this look turned out just as much as I like the one from yesterday. I took it a little darker this time. Of course, not yesterday. The last time I used it, I took the palette a little bit lighter than I did this time, but no matter what, they're still both pretty dark looks, you know what I mean? That just is what it is. But it is pretty. And some of these mattes work really well to the point where I'm like, I could kind of see myself pulling out like using the mattes and then pulling out like a really lighter, I don't know, like an Urban Decay shade, or what is that? The Moon Shadows, or a Super Shock Shadow type thing, you know? I can kind of see me doing. I like it like that, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good like that, I think. Okay. Then for the inner corner, we're going to pick up the shade Wanna Play. So this one here was It's Showtime. That one's the Chucky and Tiff Forever. And then this one here I played with yesterday. But I'm just going to put it on the inner corner today. Really, that's the lightest shade in the palette. So it's the only shade I really could put in the inner corner. But it still, it works though, you know, because, I mean, it just all works together, to be honest with you. I really like the way this whole palette kind of goes together, blends well together, has a nice gradient effect. Like, it really doesn't matter what shade you pull. They're all going to work really well and have that gradient effect for you. And I like that about it. Now we're going to go into It's Time to Play, which is a black, but not as black as that, if that makes any sense. But this is still a black nonetheless. It's darker than charcoal black, like a charcoal, but it's not as dark as that one black I used yesterday. But we're going to line the lash line on the bottom with it and on the top. But like I said, some of these shades I think you could have done without, but at the same time, I don't know, because like sometimes you might want to go with this lighter shade, but, or if you're mixing shades even, where this is a lighter black, it wouldn't go too far dark maybe. It's like I kind of get it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like we could have kind of lived without it in a sense. Now I'm just going to line the top lash line with that same shade. In this shade, you can see it over top of even the darker shades I have on the lid. You can see the shade real well even, so that goes and tells you a lot there on how dark it is, really, you know, when you can see it over the shadow itself. I'm going to use this palette, I think, that way I can grab better for the shadow. I feel like I probably should have used my refer brush when lining this, since it is a black, but I've been kind of sticking with these brushes so I can get a feel for them on whether I want to keep them or not in my collection. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I kind of get obsessive with it, to be honest. And I really don't know why, because I also know at the end of the day, I'm not going to get these eyes even, you know? So part of me is just like, just slap it on and call it a day, you know? But then I feel like if I don't practice, you know, I won't get better at it. But you can see that line even over top of these, but not as good as if I would have used the actual black. I will say that too, because that black is a really good black, to be honest. In a way, I kind of wish they would have had a matte white in here. I don't know why, but I do. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go back into the shade Till Death Do Us Part and just run it right under that blacky shade that I just put down there, because I don't want to lose that purple shade. For some reason, this purple in this look, it just does something to it, you know? I'm not sure exactly what it does, but for me, it does something. I think it makes it more wearable for me somehow. I don't know how. I just don't know how to explain it. But like for me, having that purple and this brown actually really makes this look more wearable, even though it's still very dark. It's just something about it though. Okay, so that's all I did with the palette. So I used quite a few more shadows this time. So really I've only, let's see, I haven't used 1, 2. There's only 3 shadows I haven't used now. 1 matte, which is this one up here. It's like a light gray, green, olive color almost right here. I haven't used, which is called Good Guys. I haven't used Your Pal since '98, and I haven't used Charles Lee Ray. The rest of the palette, though, I have used, and it's really, really good. So, my first impression is right. This collection's really, really nice, you all. Let's curl the lashes. And then for mascara, I'm going to use for the top lashes my YSL Lash Clash. Whoops, lost my lashes. The YSL Lash Clash. And then for bottom, of course, the Lancome. And like I said, and as far as the lip kits go, it's just really like, which one do you prefer? You know, you may prefer both. Maybe Chucky for during the day and Tiff for at night. Or Tiff during the day and Chucky at night. Really, it doesn't matter. But I will say the Tiff is just really dark for me. And I'm just not one to wear that because I feel like also, like, I don't want to maintain my makeup. I don't want to babysit it, right? And I will say this particular lipstick wore really well yesterday. It wore off nicely, all that stuff. If I wanted to reapply the lipstick, fine. But, you know, I don't have to. It wore really good to wear. Like, I could have put a gloss on even if I wanted to. Because I just don't have time. Like, once I get up from here, I'm kind of done with my makeup, to be honest, for the day. Unless there's a reason I'm looking at it again. Except for at night when I take it off. And then, of course, I see how everything wore. At that point, but okay. Oh, I forgot to put the eyeliner. I am going to use the pencil eyeliner for the top and bottom waterline. Forgot about it. And I'm not into the liquid liner, but I don't think it's too bad. It has a nice point to it and all. My daughter used it. My older daughter, she liked it, so. Or not my older daughter, my younger daughter, I'm sorry. But yeah. I think they should have came out with a black pencil liner and a purple. A dark purple to go with the purples in the palette. I think that would have been cool. Or a silver liner, maybe, would have been cool. I could have put the ColourPop silver on with this look today. I didn't even think about that, but I wanted to try both, you know, everything I could out of this collection, so I guess I needed to try that liner again. Alright, and then for the bottom lashes, we'll put the Lancome. I will say, though, this look gives me, like, I'm feeling bad, I guess, in a sense. Like, it's a conquer the world type look, Or who cares what people think or people say, or who cares what the world says, you know? I think I would have loved this palette when I was in high school, you know, when we all knew everything and yet we knew nothing at all. I feel like I would have gotten up a lot of use out of this palette for sure. I would have been feeling myself for sure. Okay. So this is the final look. Oh, let me get this one here. Okay. So this is the final look using the palette. I really do like the palette. There's nothing wrong with it. I can't give you anything wrong with it. Everything blended beautifully. Everything works well together in a gradient effect. There's no skipping. There's no patchiness. It builds. It blends. It's just beautiful. It is just a beautiful palette, to be honest and fair. And, you know, it may not be your color story, and that's fine. But and it's not, that's why I mean it's not my color story, but it's still a very beautiful palette nonetheless. Everything works really well, and the blushes go well with the palette, I guess, especially like the good guy color, the pink one. I don't know so much about the coral one, but maybe I don't know. I kind of feel like if anything out of the blushes, even though I like these blushes individually, and I love these blushes with different eye looks, I think, because I like the formula. But I think, if anything, they missed the shot on the color. I mean, I get the doll-like effect, but when I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to match it with the eyeshadow. You know what I mean? So I feel like a more purple leading blush would have been nice, or just a neutral blush. You know what I mean? To go with the palette is the only thing, or have like a purpley blush with a highlighter or something. I don't know. That's where I think it went wrong. Not necessarily like, but I do get the color is in a doll. You know what I mean? So I do get it that way also. But just personally, like using it for every day, I feel like if I still combined it with the palette, it would have been a little bit nicer, I think. Because I think with this look, if I use like, what's it called? By Hourglass, Mood Flush, this shade right here, I think it would look really good with this eye look. But overall, again, it's a beautiful, the whole collection is just beautiful. I love it all. So congrats to them. They sold out really quick. They pre-sold more, sold that out. Like, they really nailed this collection, y'all. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all that we're notified when I upload. I upload every day but Sunday. And let me know if you got this. And if you got this, did you get different blushes? Like, I'm dying to know. I'm watching these reviews and everybody's got the same blush apparently. But I don't. I promise I don't. I got a pink and I got like a coral. So, and I've asked everybody I've come in contact with, I'm like, are these two different colors? Because I feel like my mind's playing tricks on me. But I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.